Hello and welcome to another edition of Starside Chat. I am one of your hosts, Aaron, and with me as always is Zach. How's it going, Zach?
Pretty good. How about you?
Pretty good. We got a lot to talk about today.
Yeah, there were two sort of game showcases since the last time we did a podcast, and a bunch of games have come out as well. So we've been playing some stuff. But there is a little bit of news that I wanted to get to before we jump into like the PlayStation showcase and the Nintendo Direct. And I don't know if you care about this, but the latest Xbox update has added Edge browser support for the console for last gen and current gen Xbox consoles, which means you can play Stadia games and access Discord on your Xbox console.
That is crazy.
Yeah, well, and it's not just that, because I mean, there's so many like web apps now that you can basically use your Xbox as a computer, because like obviously Chrome OS is built around the idea that all you need is a browser, and you can do basically all the computing that you could want to do because of web apps. And so, I mean, basically, you could plug a monitor into your Xbox and like hook up a mouse and keyboard, and you can basically use it as a computer. And then when you're ready for it, you can also use it as an entertainment device. But just the idea that you could also play, like this is sort of another route to being able to access Stadia games on your TV or and sort of a similar PC setup, because I think they also said that you can use mouse and keyboard controls for Stadia games in the Edge browser on your Xbox. So that's pretty crazy.
That's crazy.
I guess that's a way to play Stadia games with mouse and keyboard on your TV, because currently I don't think you can connect a mouse and keyboard to like a Chromecast or a Chromecast with Google TV. So
I don't think so, no.
So that's one way of doing it.
It's interesting. You know, we'll talk about this a little bit later when we talk about what we've been playing, but I have been playing a little bit more Stadia recently. So this is very interesting news.
Yeah, I thought it was cool. I don't like, it's very niche, like the Xbox gamers who are also like, ooh, now I can play Stadia games on my console. But like, I think it's just really cool. So I wanted to mention it. The other cool thing that happened fairly recently, I don't remember exactly if this was last week or the week before, but Nintendo did add Bluetooth audio support to the Switch. Yes. So you can connect some Bluetooth earbuds to your Switch, which is very cool. Something that probably should have been there out of the gate. But
crazy that it wasn't.
It is crazy. Even when there was like a sort of hardware refresh there, like they've sort of had, I guess, kind of multiple options where they could have been like, we're doing an update to add this because we're launching, you know, the Switch Lite or the Switch, what is that? The
LED?
Yeah, whatever the new one's called, I already forget. But they could have done it either of those times, and they didn't. But they did add support now, so that's very good. And then the other thing I wanted to mention is that Tales of Arise, which came out couple weeks ago now, has turned into a pretty big success. They said more than 1 million copies have already sold, which is cool. I picked it up, but I have not started it yet. It's one of the games that I've been anticipating most of the year, so I've heard very good things about it so far. But
this is the season for like having a large backlog, because we just keep getting stuff being released.
I was gonna say there are already 4 games that I'm like struggling to keep up with. And in part, something we might talk about in a bit is I've gotten back into Destiny 2. And so that has sort of eaten up a lot of my game time, and that has made it so that I have not been getting around to games like Tales of Arise, which I would like to, but I have not yet. But anyway, anything else you want to mention before we jump into... Do you want to start with Nintendo or PlayStation?
Let's do... PlayStation happened first, I guess. So maybe we should start with PlayStation and then get to... Because there's more... I feel like maybe there's more juicy stuff in the Nintendo stuff.
Yeah, I think you're right. So first off, they started off that PlayStation showcase with a trailer for the Knights of the Old Republic remake. So we knew this was coming. This was announced a little while ago. Maybe it leaked. I don't remember exactly, but kind of cool. I don't know. I did not play Knights of the Old Republic, but I know people love the game. It's been very beloved. I think, wasn't there also a trailer for Knights of the Old Republic in the Nintendo Direct as well? Not to get too ahead of ourselves.
That is unrelated to this.
Yeah, it's not the remake that's coming to Nintendo. But the one that they showed at the PlayStation showcase is a full remake.
Yeah, and who knows, like how, I mean, I don't know if it's going to be a Resident Evil style full workup or what their plan is, but I'm very interested to see.
Yeah, it was just a teaser, so you didn't really get much to go on with the trailer they showed. But I do think it's cool. It's one of those games that was like, it was before Mass Effect. It was BioWare before Mass Effect. And you can tell, like, because I guess I've seen brief bits of the game. And it's out for like everything. You can play it on your phone now.
Yeah.
But you can tell like some of the DNA of that game went into Mass Effect. And I'm a
Do you know the plot of that game?
Fan. I don't.
Don't look it up.
Okay.
Yeah, I will probably. Now here's the thing. Like, what do you check out? The Switch one or I mean, who knows when the remake is coming out? That's probably years down the line, but
yeah, I guess it is kind of cool that there will be that option to sort of play it on the Switch and sort of get through it and have that experience before heading into the remake, so you kind of know what to look for, but also I don't know, it's kind of cool when you know there's like a big remake coming to go back and revisit the original. So I guess it's cool that there's an option for that on Nintendo now. But going back to the PlayStation Showcase, Insomniac showed that they are working on not just Spider-Man 2, but also a surprise Wolverine game. I don't know if you watched this showcase, but
I did.
It was funny because I think I was watching the Min-Max like comments over the showcase, and they were looking at it and they're like, okay, well, this is Insomniac, so is this Spider-Man 2? And then they like faked everybody out with that, and they were like, no, it's a Wolverine game. And so everybody was like, okay, so they're doing Wolverine, that's awesome. No Spider-Man 2 then? And then like there was another weird trailer in the middle, so to make you think that they were moving on from Insomniac, and then they circled back and showed Spider-Man 2 as like a surprise. So there's a little trickery going on in the PlayStation Showcase, but it was kind of cool to see both of those. Personally,
they're cranking them out.
They are. I'm not a big fan of like superhero games, and of the superheroes, I would say I'm more a fan of Wolverine than I am Spider-Man, which is, I'm sure, crazy to most people, but and everybody was talking about how they're gonna have to do something to make like playing as Wolverine as fun and interesting as Spider-Man, because you can like swing around a giant cityscape in Spider-Man.
Well, that's the thing. Is like the reason I think that Spider-Man, the one that just came out, was like so heavily lauded is like it is like a really cool open world, and it has that immersive or emergent gameplay because you're just going around doing stuff and they give you a whole bag of tricks to use. So you're kind of making your own fun. Do you think this Wolverine game is going to be like open world? Because that would be interesting.
Yeah.
Like, would he drive cars?
Yeah, I guess, would you have a car and you're just driving around and it's...
Would you have like an old beat up truck? That seems like something Wolverine would have, but like,
yeah,
I don't know. Like, is this like going to be an Uncharted type thing where you're just going to set pieces and you're kind of in a hallway? Or is this open world sort of like the later Nathan Drake games where, I don't know, like, because how do you make
Wolverine interesting?
Yeah, how do you make it open world? He can't like run up buildings and stuff, you know?
Yeah, I don't know. It's a good question, and the teaser gave no indication. So the teaser trailer they showed was very reminiscent of that first X-Men movie from years ago, where Hugh Jackman as Wolverine is like at a bar and he's drinking a beer or whatever, and then Rogue comes in and they like meet up and sort of team up. So it very much was pulling that vibe, because it's like you see this sort of dingy looking bar and the camera kind of zooms in, and there's some burly looking man sitting at the bar, and suddenly he like pops his blades out of his hand, and that's how you know it's Wolverine. And that's all you get from it. So I don't know. Hopefully next year they'll have more on this, like some sort of game.
I'm sure there's going to be a
trailer.
big E3 thing about
it. Did they give like a nebulous 2023 for that game, or did I make that up?
I don't remember. I can't remember.
Okay. Well, anyway, so those were two pretty big announcements from Insomniac, but PlayStation was not done, because they also showed a pretty cool gameplay trailer for God of War Ragnarok, which I guess officially giving the subtitle Ragnarok, which is what everybody thought it was going to be, but they did not confirm until this trailer.
It looks very cool. I have to say, I'm pretty excited for it. Not unfortunately, I guess, but I'm now going to have to dive into trying to get a PS5, which I've thankfully not had to deal with. But you have to like start subscribing to those like Twitter bots or whatever that tell you when to jump on sales.
Now, it is encouraging. I do believe Best Buy was selling the consoles at Best Buy stores just this week. Like, I think it was select Best Buys. It was not
really
all Best Buys, but I did see a thing where there were some Best Buy stores that had them. And I remember seeing a news report that like people were camped out, and there were long lines forming of people trying to get into Best Buy, like as soon as it opened, so they could pick up their new console. So PlayStation and Xbox, I think, both had consoles in Best Buys as recently as this week. So just a little bit more encouraging. I do think that hopefully they will be easier to come by.
So do you think if I was planning on to give you a look behind the curtain in the audience, I was going to like after this put some shoes on and go to a Potbelly sandwich and get a nice meal. There's one right by a Best Buy where I live. Do you think if I went into that Best Buy, they would have a PS5 ready for me to purchase?
You could go look, but I mean, I would bet if they had them, they've all sold out by now.
Yeah, that's probably true.
I mean, it's maybe even worth just going and looking on the off chance that they have one left, or even like asking them, hey, did you guys get any in this week? Is that like going to be a thing now where you guys are going to get like regular shipments of new consoles?
Realistically, though, I still have a little bit of time before.
Yeah. You're not quite in a rush at this point, but soon you're going to want one.
It's true. I'm chomping at the bit. Maybe holiday season 2021.
Yeah, that trailer for God of War Ragnarok, it showed some stuff that we saw from the first game, so it's similar in terms of combat, but that combat was so good. I'll be curious. So it seems like maybe you can start out with the Blades of Chaos, because that was a thing that you got later on in the game, and so you're swapping back and forth between the Blades of Chaos and the axe, depending on the type of enemy you're fighting. Yeah, just even talking about it, that game is so satisfying, just the combat in it. I'm really looking forward to this.
That might have been my game of the show, because the thing they showed after that, Tiny Tina's Wonderland, which is like an offshoot of Borderlands.
Yeah,
and that's something I'm super into, I have to say.
Yeah, I played the first Borderlands game and I enjoyed it for what it was, but I've kind of just never been that interested in returning to that series. But it is beloved. Like, people really love that franchise, and so I'm sure people are excited about it. The news from this showcase was that it is releasing on March 25th. So February's packed with game releases, and it seems like March is going to have some big ones as well. And then after that, they showed Forspoken. This is that game that I forget what the original name
Yeah,
was.
it had like a code name.
It was like Project something or other.
Yeah.
And I don't know about you, but this looks pretty great to me. It seems sort of what is that movie, A Kid in King Arthur's Court, where some modern day person is like sort of thrown back in time to like medieval times, and so you have this, you're playing as this woman who's like running around. There's all these like crazy dragons and creatures, and graphically it looks gorgeous. It looks really, really good. And it's also seems like you have these insane like magic powers that you're like throwing at enemies, but you're also like able to seemingly fly through the air. You're like running and jumping, and it's all really crazy.
The traversal in that game looks really fun.
It does look really cool. I do think maybe this is just my memory of it, but it felt like some of the dialogue and just like the personality they were going for was a little bit off-putting to me. It just seemed like they were trying to be quirky and funny, and it was coming off as a little bit annoying.
Weird. Yeah, I agree with that.
But anyway, did they say when this is coming out or give like a launch window? Next spring?
I don't believe so. I think this is, I mean, maybe, did they say next spring? I feel like this is still very early on.
The article I'm looking at says launching next spring. I don't know that the trailer says, because I'm trying to play back the trailer and I'm not seeing it say anything in there. I don't know. Maybe they know more than I do, but it claims next spring. We'll find out. I feel like they've been working on this game for a long time, because back when it was known as Project whatever.
I want to say like Athia. Does that sound right?
That sounds right to me, but I'm afraid that was a different game I was thinking of. But yeah, I feel like we saw several teaser trailers for that like years ago at E3. So this has been in the works for a long time. But it looks cool. And correct me if I'm wrong, this is an exclusive for PlayStation?
Yes, I believe so, yeah.
Okay. So that's cool. Another thing, I'm not sure if this is an exclusive. It would seem strange for it to be an exclusive, but Alan Wake is getting a remaster, and it is coming to PlayStation. Alan Wake on the 360 was an exclusive for Microsoft. So interesting that it's coming out on PlayStation.
That's all Remedy stuff, though. So, I mean, I bought the first maybe I just bought the first Control DLC, which was great. But the final Control DLC was the Alan Wake Control DLC, where he like, I don't know if he's actually in it, but you hear his voice a lot, and he's like doing, he's sort of guiding the player character. But it seems like if they do a Control 2, like Alan Wake is going to be involved, or the next Alan Wake game is gonna have a cameo from the lady from Alan Wake. So they're all about Alan Wake, and this is probably just a stepping stone into reintroducing him into whatever larger franchise is going to happen. But did you ever play the original?
I did not. Interesting that it's the same universe as Control.
Yeah.
But no, this is coming out October 5th, so it's not even that far away.
Yeah.
Right
down the line.
I don't know that anybody knew this was coming either. So the fact that they're confirmed that it's happening, but also that it's like a couple weeks away is pretty crazy. Mm-hmm. This game does not seem really up my alley, which is probably why I did not play it back in the 360 days. But I know there is some hardcore love for Alan Wake, so it's kind of cool that it's coming back. And you're right, it might be interesting if they have some sort of tie-in to Control and sort of a like next step for Control 2 as sort of a teaser for whenever that comes out.
That was a great speed run. It wasn't this year, I think it was maybe last year at either AGDQ or SGDQ, but the Control speed run that they did was excellent.
Really?
Yeah, it was very cool to watch.
Well, they also showed off Grand Theft Auto 5 coming to next-gen consoles. Yeah. This is something we already knew about. So it's just another trailer. maybe they confirmed that it's coming out in March. Maybe that was the new info here, but
Yeah, it got pushed back, I guess.
yeah. And then after that, they had Ghostwire Tokyo, which looks great to me.
I'm definitely going to check that out if I have a
yeah.
PS5 when that comes out. It looks very cool.
Yeah.
Then, so what they did after that, Radiohead is making an experience, I guess?
Yeah, this was confusing to me. I did not know what to make of it. I
don't know what it is.
I know Radiohead is like re-releasing Kid A and Amnesiac, those early albums of theirs, but like somehow they're also doing like a tie-in like PlayStation experience.
I don't know what this is. It's going to be interesting though. I mean, they're always at the forefront. I feel like Radiohead's always doing weird stuff. Like they did that one music video way back in the day that was shot on like lasers. Do you remember that?
No.
They filmed it with like some sort of technology for measuring. Like I don't remember it actually, but it looks insane because it's shot basically, or it's like rendered with lasers, or they like filmed it by shooting lasers at them or something. I'm misremembering this, but it was a crazy. But they love technology, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, and I guess the only way to do something experimental now these days in terms of like a music video would be to turn it into some sort of game experience.
It's a cool idea. I mean, I'm interested. I mean, I enjoy the music of Radiohead, but I could not tell you a lot of their songs. It's not something I've ever really explored. Yeah, but I would check this out.
I was gonna say I know them by hearing them and not by like the names of things. But after that, they had kind of a cool thing. They're relaunching basically all the Uncharted games on PC and PS5.
Yes, people have always wanted to play them on PC. You've basically they've all been PlayStation exclusives until now. So this is pretty cool.
It is cool that they're finally coming to PC. So if you've never owned a PlayStation console, but you've been a PC gamer, you'll get your chance to play through the entire series. They're breaking it up, so it looks like Uncharted 4 and The Lost Legacy is coming out. And then I think maybe after that, they're doing the that bundle that came with the first 3 Uncharted games is going to come out on PC. So that's something to look out for next year. And then after that, they had Gran Turismo 7. Neither of us are big on racing games, so this was kind of not important to me.
Fun to look at, but yeah, I'm not super...
Yeah.
The graphics are great, but...
Yeah, I mean, graphics have been great in racing games for years now. Like, you go back to PS2 and they're like, here's a crazy looking car game that looks photorealistic, and like it was mind blowing then, but that's like a good way to sort of show off how great your console is in terms of graphics, is just show a racing game because they all look great. Yeah, always. The surprise, still no Final Fantasy 16. I feel like we've been like every time there's a new sort of PlayStation showcase or like E3 or something, like I keep expecting to see more about that game, and it is not happening.
It's true. It had a very interesting opening cinematic trailer that we saw 2 years ago.
Yeah, it's been a while.
That was like, it seemed like city states, and like each kingdom had a summon that they worshipped that was like a giant monster that they controlled or that they worshipped or something. But the graphics look great. I mean, it was a cinematic trailer, so who knows what it actually looks like. Yeah. But I'm interested.
Yeah, and
nowhere to be seen.
Because I played Final Fantasy VII Remake, which is my first Final Fantasy game, so I'm like all ready to like jump in to the next big Final Fantasy experience, and so I'm like kind of anticipating this one, and it's just nowhere to be found. But
yeah,
but they also have that other one that's supposed to be sort of a Dark Souls like game that they put out a demo for. They didn't show that either. But yeah, lacking Final Fantasy at the showcase, but otherwise they had some real heavy hitters, in particular the Insomniac stuff and God of War. So it's still a cool showcase.
Yeah.
But we can circle back now to the Nintendo Direct. So this happened just Thursday? Friday?
Yes. It was on. No, it was Thursday. Yeah, because Friday was something else.
So yeah, they started out, speaking of Square Enix and Final Fantasy, they showed off a new kart racer. Actually, have they never done a kart racer before in the Final Fantasy?
I am not plugged into that world, unfortunately. So I couldn't tell you.
Well, anyway, I mean, it looked very Mario Kart like, but I don't know. I don't know if you're interested in this at all. I'm more of a Mario Kart guy, I guess, and all other kart racers seem like just trying to cash in on the success of Mario Kart.
I agree.
But there are a lot of Final Fantasy fans out there, so it may do well for them.
It has an interesting system where, like, so instead of question blocks that you run to and you get power-ups, there are, like, elemental blocks, and if you get one of them, it seems like you cast, like, a small spell, but if you save them up and you cast, like, if you run into 3 of the same kind, you cast, like, a big spell or something? I don't know. There are also maybe summons? I'm not sure.
Yeah, so maybe it'll be more interesting once there's like a longer trailer that has a little bit more to show. I do like kart racers. It's maybe the only racing game you're going to get me to play these days is like a fun kart racer. Like I played a bunch of Mario Kart 8 when that came out and I had a lot of fun.
Yeah, that was great.
But anyway, after that, they showed Kirby and the Forgotten Land. And I put it out on Twitter when I saw this trailer. I was like, is anyone else seeing like shades of Super Mario Odyssey here?
That's what it seems like to me. I agree with that. Like we've never had a fully 3D Kirby game.
Yeah.
And it looks really good.
I know. It looked very, very good. I was actually kind of blown away by it because it definitely reminded me of Super Mario Odyssey, but yeah, just like finally doing like a good modern like 3D Kirby game, because I don't know about you, but all the previous ones have seemed kind of lame to me.
I liked that the Yarn one where you were Yarn.
Epic Yarn?
Yes, Epic Yarn. But again, that's a side-scrolling. It's I mean, it's nice for like a handheld or whatever it came out on, but I don't know. I want that 3D. I want that Mario Odyssey. I want that Breath of the Wild style, like change up the formula and just like it is very similar to Mario Odyssey in that you can. I mean, Kirby's whole thing is possessing, or I guess just like taking the powers of people.
Yeah.
So
doing the same thing, but with Kirby instead of throwing your hat. One of my earliest game memories is playing Kirby's Adventure on NES. Like, I have not played a single Kirby game since then, but really? As a small child, it was a game that I loved because I was able to like beat it all by myself, and I was again a young small child, and I was playing it on the NES, and I thought it was such a cool game. And even like to this day, when I hear Kirby music, like on Smash Brothers or something like that, or like one of these Nintendo Directs, it always sort of takes me back to that.
It's iconic.
Yeah, it's very iconic. Gets me kind of reminiscent. So being able to finally have like sort of a modern 3D, like really good looking Kirby game is very, very exciting for me. So.
And I don't think anybody saw this. I don't think this was on anybody's radar either. Like I had not heard any rumors about like, oh, they're going to revamp Kirby. So it was really a nice surprise.
It was. Yeah, I don't remember hearing anything like any speculation or any leaks about a potential upcoming new Kirby game. So that was cool to see. And they really kind of leaned into that they like knew that this had not leaked yet because they were they were kind of being mysterious at first because it shows the sort of, it's basically an island that seems to be overgrown with like grass and stuff like that because there's like nobody living there. And
yeah, that was one thing I was a little not weirded out, but like it made me a little hesitant. Is it seems like it is all going to be one area maybe,
Yeah, it seems
I
like
don't know. What do you think about
it
that?
seems like maybe an open world that's just like a big island, and there are just like different areas you can go to. Yeah, I initially I wanted it to be a little bit more like Super Mario Odyssey, where you were like actually traveling to different areas, so they could do
Yeah.
like, well, here's the tropical island area, here's the cityscape, here's the winter area.
Snow area.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it does not look like that's going to be the case. I don't know. I maybe that would have been cool, but I'm not gonna like hold it against them for doing something different. I don't know. I'll check it out. I do want to play it. Did they say when this is coming? Spring 2022.
Yes.
So that's cool.
Right around the corner.
Right around the corner. So like spring is the new fall, I guess, for video game releases. After that, they had some Animal Crossing DLC. Or
They had an announcement of an announcement, basically.
yeah,
They were like, do you care about Animal Crossing? Here's a little teaser. That coffee shop bird is going to be in there, but also show up for this live stream, I think like next week or 2 weeks from now in October. And we're going to tell you all about what's going on with Animal, because they have not really done anything since the first year ended. They kind of stopped towards the end of the first year, actually. Like, there hasn't really been anything going on. I know that like we haven't logged into our island in quite a while, just because there's nothing new to do, and we've done pretty much everything there is to do. So I'll be interested to see like how expansive this expansion actually is.
yeah. I have not played Animal Crossing, so this was not interesting to me. But yeah, like they've got an entire direct plan for it, so they've obviously got something they're going to show off. That's
It's exciting.
probably pretty big if you're a fan of that game. So. And then they showed Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic. We talked about that already. This is not the remake. This is just they're releasing the old game on Switch, which is pretty cool. And then they got to something that I was also pretty excited about. Was they are bringing Nintendo 64 and Sega Genesis games to Nintendo Online. Now, the off-putting thing about it is that I think it's like a different pricing tier.
Yes, it is.
So I don't know why they wouldn't just include everything together. Why would they have separate tiers for this? But I also didn't catch the price. What was? Do you remember?
They did not say.
Okay, so it wasn't just me then. But it's cool, and they have done a thing that they did with the NES and Super NES when they brought those games to Nintendo Online, is they also are releasing like authentic wireless controllers for the N64 and the Sega Genesis, so that you can relive the glory days of the N64 by playing the games on your Switch with an actual N64 controller. And like the collector in me wants to get these, even if just to have them like be like display pieces on a shelf. But
Now, do you think but you definitely can just play the games with the Joy-Cons, right? I mean,
Yeah.
you don't need those controllers.
It's the same with the NES and Super NES. You can play with your Joy-Cons or like a Pro controller, but if you want to, you can get these wireless controllers so that you get the old-fashioned feel of playing the games. And I have kind of wanted to go get one of the SNES controllers to play something like Donkey Kong Country or some of those old NES or Super NES games, but I have not done it. The lineup,
It's got the class. I mean, it's got everything you expect. It's got Super Mario 64, Ocarina of Time, Star Fox, Yoshi's Story. Some things are coming later, like Majora's Mask, for instance, is going to be coming later. They didn't say when, but I mean, Ocarina of Time is the big one that you would buy it for, I think. Because, I mean, Super Mario 64 already came out with that All-Stars, even though you can't technically buy that anymore.
That's the thing, is there's already a way to play Super Mario 64. Yeah, you're right. You can't actually go buy it if you didn't already do it. But there's like, for most people that would care, bought that already, so they already have a solution for playing that game on the Switch. But I mean, it's cool. And I think, didn't they say that you're going to be able to play these games online. So like if you're playing Mario Kart 64,
Yeah, I think so.
you could play that online with your friends. That's pretty cool.
They did that with all the rest of the, like, whatever they could do it with, they added online, like, multiplayer functionality for it. Like, there are some old SNES games that you can play, like, 2-player over the internet if you want to, I believe.
That's very cool to me. So I like that. The Sega Genesis stuff, they're bringing back Sonic the Hedgehog 2, Streets of Rage 2, Castlevania, Bloodlines, Golden Axe, Contra Hardcore. Like, they have some cool, like, old games, like Phantasy Star 4. So, I mean, it's a pretty cool collection to start out with. It's a little bit short in the number that they're bringing, but obviously they're going to be able to bring more of them. So yeah, Nintendo Online is getting to be a pretty good deal. I don't know. Yeah, we don't know the pricing of the N64 and Sega Genesis games on there, but the controllers will be like $50 each, which is a little steep. But
yeah, it's steep, but I mean that's Nintendo for you.
Yeah, but I mean I still kind of want them.
Yeah.
I don't know if I will buy them, but I kind of want them. And then the craziest news, the Super Mario Brothers movie. What did you think of this?
This was weird.
Yeah.
This is something that I had to watch other people watch, 'cause, like, very similar to the launch of the Switch, that first trailer that they revealed, which I watched people watch over and over again. I scoured the internet to look and see what people were feeling about this. I am not super into Chris Pratt as a person. He seems not cool in a weird way. Like, he used to be kind of like a lovable goof, but he's like all fit now, and I think he is part of a cult, I'm pretty sure.
What?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
I have not heard that.
Do a little he's married to Arnold Schwarzenegger's wife, or no, daughter now.
That would be weird if he was married to his wife.
Now that would be interesting. But no, I think he is in a cult. But some sort of Hollywood cult that is all about like money. But
really? I have not heard about this.
He is whatever. It's not Charles Martinet, but
so supposedly Charles Martinet is in it or involved in some way.
Yeah, who knows what he's going to be. He's probably just going to be like background characters or something.
It's so confusing to me. Like, is Chris Pratt just going to be running around going, "It's me, Mario"?
My girlfriend brought up a good point, because this movie has been in the making for a while. And it's possible that they were just like, hey, who was that lovable goof in the Lego movie? That's the kind of energy we need for Mario.
And so they just literally got the same guy.
Yeah, I mean, maybe that's entirely what they were thinking.
But like Charlie Day as Luigi?
That I think is good casting. I'm into
I
that.
like Charlie Day, but like, what about his voice sounds like Luigi in your head?
Well, do you think he's going to be doing an accent? Here's the thing, Zach. Here's the $1 million question. Are these people who are not Italian going to be doing crazy Italian accents?
I mean, I feel like there are enough people that are very sensitive about these issues that
I feel like that is a mistake to do.
Yeah. They will not let that happen, probably. But
I don't know what that means for I don't know what that means for Mario. Is Mario just going to be like a dude? Is he going to be Bob Hoskins style, just like a New Yorker?
But the thing is, it's not like, this isn't a live action. Chris Pratt's just going to be wearing overalls and a red hat. This is an animated thing, so it's going to literally be the Mario.
It's going to look exactly,
exactly what we've seen in the games. It's just going to have Chris Pratt's voice. And what is that going to be due to the next Mario game that comes out? Are they going to get Chris Pratt to come in and do all of the
I don't think so.
Hoo-ha as he jumps?
No. I think it's still gonna be Charles Martinet for games, I believe. But
this is like the most bizarre thing. So Jack,
what do you think about Jack Black?
Is Bowser?
I think that's good. I think I don't know who I would have gotten to play Bowser, but
Well,
I mean, he is.
The thing is, there's no way to anticipate a casting for these characters because of the fact that they don't talk. And so that's been the question all along: is how are they going to do a movie with these characters? Because are they going to be talking or are they not going to be talking? And so I mean, apparently they're just leaning right into it and be like, well, no, they're going to talk. Yeah. They're going to have full lines, and we're going to have, regular voice actors that would be in like a DreamWorks or Pixar movie. And it's just going to
Keegan-Michael Key is going to be Toad. And I do think he is going to do a voice for this. Because Toad's voice is always been, like, canonically very annoying.
I almost think Charlie Day might have made more sense for Toad.
That actually is a good point, now that I think about it, yeah. He would have been good for Toad.
I mean...
He has the manic energy of a Toad.
Yeah. I feel like he could have played Toad in a live-action movie.
You left off the thing I'm most excited about on this.
I didn't list all of the voice actors in our show notes, no.
Seth Rogen is going to be Donkey Kong for some reason.
That was a weird one to me. I mean, they're all weird, but that one in particular was weird.
I'm into that. Now,
I mean, just think of his voice and now try to apply that to Donkey Kong. Like, they don't even, from a personality standpoint, like, you can say, like, Keegan-Michael Key can bring Toad energy because he can do pretty much anything.
He definitely can.
And Charlie Day is maybe a little too manic for Luigi, but he could. Yeah, I don't know. Could probably dial it down and find that, that energy.
You just have to be a big wuss to be Luigi. Like, you just have to be afraid of everything.
Yeah, which I'm sure he could do. But even then, I feel like he'd do too manic a version of that. But Seth Rogen, like, I don't know. I guess I don't know what actor would channel Donkey Kong the best, but
yeah. I mean, honestly, Jack Black, I think, would do a good job.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, Jack Black could probably be all of the characters. It could have just been a one-man show starring Jack Black.
Yeah.
But, so Seth Rogen is Donkey Kong. Fred Armisen is Cranky Kong.
It's interesting.
They've got, I don't know who Kevin Michael Richardson is.
I had to look it up. It is the Koopa-style enemy that is like on a wizard's cloak.
Okay. But I also don't know who Kevin Michael Richardson is.
Oh, no, I don't know who he is either. I think he's a famous voice actor.
Okay. And then they had Sebastian Manis. I don't know how to say this guy's name. I don't recognize him, though.
He is playing Spike, which, as far as I can tell, are those guys who throw spiked logs at you, maybe?
Okay. Some of these characters, like, you get down to the end of the list and you're just like, okay, Kamek sounds familiar to me, and I'm sure there's a character called Spike, but, like, I don't know what they are. I would have to see them.
Yeah, I mean, each enemy has, like, deep lore in the Mario universe.
I'm sure they do.
We have no idea about. But did you ever watch Queen's Gambit? Do you care about Anna Taylor-Joy?
I did not. She looked familiar, but I could not place her.
She's at Queen's Gambit, which I have not seen, but I think that's where she really blew up.
She's playing Peach. And I guess I don't know how you get to any of these characters with these actors, but
I know that I've asked you this question before, but is there a world where this is the first step in the Smash Brothers movie?
I mean, it could be. So the weird thing to think about was when I saw a trailer for Detective Pikachu, the movie, I was like, look, I like Ryan Reynolds, but there's no way that his voice matches Pikachu in my mind. But that was because I didn't understand what Detective Pikachu was, or like what that story was about. And so once you see the movie, it makes sense. They get to that point where there's like a reveal at some point, not to spoil that movie, but like it makes sense why he's Ryan Reynolds, or why he has Ryan Reynolds' voice. My question to you is this some sort of bizarre situation where these people or the like real actors, like there's like at the end of the movie, it's revealed that it's the real world and these are just people, and for whatever reason they are in the shoes of Mario, Peach, Luigi, and Bowser.
That would suck, and I would hate that. You're talking about a Jumanji-style situation where, like, a couple of lovable people in their 40s and 50s, decide that they're going to go play an old N64 and they get sucked in the game. I would legitimately hate that.
Because they do say surprise cameos from Charles Martinet. Like, what could that mean? He's Mario.
I assume he's just. I mean, he voices every one of them. Like he voices Wario and Waluigi.
Oh, is that like a hint that maybe Wario and Waluigi are in this game?
But that's another one where I feel like they could have a lot of fun casting a Wario, and it's crazy
if you're gonna cast Mario and Luigi and all of those guys, why wouldn't you also have a lot of fun casting Wario and Waluigi?
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know when we'll get. I guess we're gonna get more information in a direct. I guess is how we're gonna receive information about this movie.
I'm looking at Nintendo's tweet where they listed the voice actors, and there's a meme that was in the replies of Chris Pratt doing his dance off at the end of the first Guardians movie, and they just like put Mario's hat on his head.
I saw a really good meme of that Pepe Silvio scene from It's Always Sunny, but
it's Luigi.
It's Luigi, and it was pretty good. The only one I really am not into is Chris Pratt, because I believe that he is in a cult. But other than that, I think this is interesting casting that I'm looking forward to seeing on the screen.
Yeah, I mean, it's got me curious more than anything. I don't know, like, I thought it was cool that they were making a movie, but I, again, had no clue how they were going to go about it because of the fact that the characters don't really talk in the games. And I'm just utterly confused by how it's going to work with the casting and maybe even what they're going for. But they had, what's his name, out there during the Nintendo Direct to show it. So, I mean, obviously Nintendo's involved. This isn't just like Hollywood being like, hey, we're going to make a video game movie.
Yeah, Miyamoto seemed super into it. He was like, oh, Chris-san is going to be great. He's so cool.
I mean, obviously this is just like, if you're going to release a movie, you have to have like notable people in it so that people will want to go to it. I don't know about you, but like with animated movies, it does not matter to me who voices the characters. Like I don't find the voice actors in an animated movie to be the draw. I find the movie itself to be the draw.
I agree.
So like if Pixar comes out with a trailer for some new movie and they're like, hey, we got the guy that plays Tony Stark, we got the guy that plays the Hulk, we got all these Marvel people to come be our voice actors. Like, I don't care. Does the movie look good? Is kind of where I'm at with it. But
of the people they've revealed so far, Mario, Luigi, Bowser, Toad, Peach, Cranky Kong, Donkey Kong, if you had to put Robert Downey Jr. in one of those roles, which one would you put him in?
That's a tough question.
He could be sinister when he wants to be, so he could be an interesting Bowser.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I've never seen him as like a scaredy cat, so him being Luigi might be a real character turn for him that I would be interested in.
I mean, I feel like he might make a better Donkey Kong than Seth Rogen.
That's interesting. Yeah, he does. He's very boisterous at times as well. I mean, he could do anything, really. I love Robert Downey Jr.
I do love Robert Downey Jr.
If they picked the worst Avenger, I feel like, to put in this. I feel like any other Avenger would be more interesting. Paul Rudd would be a good Mario.
Oh, yeah. If you were going to cast Mario and you're just like running down the star lineup of the Marvel movies, I feel like he makes the most sense.
He's got the best comedic timing and stuff. I feel like Chris Pratt is only
here because of the Lego movie.
Exactly. Yeah, I think this is exactly it. They like Miyamoto saw the Lego movie and he's like, "Yeah, this is it. Get that guy." And they were just like, "Well, you're Miyamoto. I mean, we have to Do what you do. He is in a cult, but I mean, we'll grab him.
I still have not heard that. I'm gonna have to look that up. Chris Pratt in a cult, but
Yeah.
anyway, moving on from this movie that has me utterly confused, they also showed some Splatoon 3 stuff, did they?
They did, yeah. I'm not super into. I've not really played any Splatoon games ever. So
Yeah, I mean, it's got a fan base, so I'm sure there are people that are excited about it. It just is not something I'm anticipating. They did give a release date for Project Triangle Strategy, which
that is interesting to me. I like a good tactics game, and this seems pretty cool. I like the art style a whole lot.
yeah, the art style is great. I never played Octopath Traveler, but I correct me if I'm wrong. This is the same universe, very similar art style, or the same art style.
It's a similar art style, but I don't know if it's in the same world.
Maybe I feel like I heard that at one point, but maybe I am misremembering. Anyway, the release date they gave for it was March 4th, 2022. And then something you'll be excited about, Bayonetta 3.
Yes. I was super excited for this. I loved Bayonetta 2. Bayonetta 1 I played a long time ago during a weekend sleepover, and we had a lot of fun with it. But Bayonetta 2, I got on Switch. It was one of the first Switch games I got. And man, that game is so good. You unlock the ability to become like a crazy panther to run around. It's just like you're always unlocking crazy abilities. It's so over the top. It's so good. I love it so much. And this looks like it's going to be even crazier. So this is a day one purchase for me. It looks very cool.
I have not played the Bayonetta games, but yeah, they do look crazy and over the top. We'll see if, depending on like when it comes out, if I'm able to get around to it, but it's something that is on my radar. So that was it. That was the Nintendo Direct. Some cool stuff in there. Again, most of it was the Mario Brothers movie that was just like had my head rolling. I don't really know what to make of it.
Yeah, if you're interested, definitely Google like react to Mario casting. There's like so many videos of people just being like, "What is this? This is insane." It's really fun to watch.
I was watching the MinMax guys comment over the live stream.
Yeah, they were great. That was
and
a good
it was
one.
hilarious because they were like every name that was revealed, they were like freaking out about it. So I was with them in the spirit of being weirded out by every single name that they announced as being in the movie, but also like laughing hysterically at every single time that they reacted to it. But anyway, we can run through what games have come out either this last week, or some of these I think are from the week before.
It's been a big couple weeks.
Yeah, there's been a lot coming out in September. I did do a solo podcast last time to run down just what was coming out, to talk about games this month, and I think I also went through October, November. So Stadia Pro games for September. It's a little late, I guess, because we're getting close to October, so there'll be like a new list of them. But Legend of Keepers is a game that I've liked a lot, and that I've been playing it throughout the year. And that is now one of the Stadia Pro games. So if you're a Stadia Pro subscriber, you can add that. There is a DLC that was released like a week or two ago for Legend of Keepers, but I cannot seem to find it on Stadia. So it might only be on the Steam version right now. And then they also, so Darksiders 2 and Ark Survival Evolved are the other Stadia Pro games for September. I've heard Ark Survival Evolved does not run well.
Yeah, I have also heard that.
So maybe you want to avoid that. I think they did also add Darksiders 3 to Stadia. So if you want to get into that series, you can play Darksiders 2 for free with a Stadia Pro subscription, and then you can pick up Darksiders 3. So that's kind of cool. And then games that came out this week on other platforms, Deathloop is what I've been playing lately. You've been playing some Eastward, that also came out.
Yes.
And then Origami 2 looks like I think it has not gotten great reviews, but it is out on Game Pass if you want to check it out. It's kind of a cool stealth ninja.
Yeah,
game.
Origami 1 is one that I always meant to pick up because it is like co-op stealth. So it's interesting to me, and it has been on sale a bunch of times. I just have never grabbed it.
Yeah. I considered trying to download it and put some time into it just because it is on Game Pass, but I did not. And then also Cruise and Blast came out. This is a game I think I've mentioned on the podcast before, being a little bit excited about just for nostalgia's sake. It's like a really over-the-top arcadey racing game that is the next in line for a game franchise that I did not think would get a new game. But back in the 90s and like early 2000s on the N64 when they had Cruisin' World and Cruisin' USA, and you could pretty much go to any movie theater or arcade and find like the big machines to play those games as well. So I was kind of excited for this. I have not picked it up. I don't know if I will get around to it, but I think it's a cool thing that a game that I loved in my childhood has gotten a new release. So those are out. And then Kenna Bridges Spirits. I don't know how to say it. I've heard Kana. I've also
I think it's Kenna, but I'm not sure, I guess.
Anyway, this is a game that just came out this week and it's getting good reviews. It's a short game. I think it's like 8 to 10 hours, somewhere in there. The developers, I believe at one point said that they had the idea of just something you could play through over the weekend. So it's $40. It's on the Epic Game Store on PC, and it's on PS4 and PS5. So this is a game that I wouldn't mind checking out because I think it looks pretty good. It's like a third-person sort of action-adventure game where you have like a staff that you can do melee attacks with, and then you have like a dodge roll, but you can also use the staff like a bow and arrow to shoot enemies from a distance. And then you're like collecting these little creatures called rot. And they're like sort of cutesy creatures that you basically explore the area and you find more of them. And as you collect them, they sort of gather around you and run along with you as you go throughout the game. And then you're also collecting these hats so you can like equip them with like a hat and they look really cute or whatever. So it's it looks kind of fun, but I think the spirit maybe they're going for is oh gosh, now I'm blanking on the name. What is that Miyazaki movie?
My Neighbor Totoro?
No, the one that is
Princess Mononoke?
Yes. I could not think of the name of it. If you've seen that movie, sort of put yourself in that headspace and you'll understand kind of what they're going for in terms of like the environments and the spirit of the game. But I don't know. Are you any interest in this game?
It looks very beautiful, but again, I don't have a PS5. And it's probably not something that would...
I think it is on PS4.
Really? I thought it was exclusive to PS5.
Well, I think I saw it was on PS4, but you might double check me on that. It's also on PC.
Unless I heard it get rave reviews, it's probably not something I would pick up. It is very beautiful looking, but I just am not in the mood to play something like that, I guess.
Yeah, I think I'm in a similar boat. Like, I know it's been getting good reviews, but considering how much other stuff I have to play right now, this would be like pretty low on my priority list.
Mm-hmm.
And then also out this week, Diablo 2 Resurrected. I know people were looking forward to that. Sable is a game that has like a pretty cool art style that I want to say is on Game Pass as well. And then Death Stranding Director's Cut. I already played this game, so I don't see myself going back to play it again, but it's coming out on PS5, or it came out on PS5. And then Lost Judgment, which I think is also getting good reviews. That's that spinoff of the Yakuza series.
Yeah.
So that's all that's out this week. Why don't you tell me about what you've been playing?
Zach, I'm about 15 hours into Eastward, the game Eastward. I'm playing it on Switch. It has crashed 5 times.
Really?
at very inopportune times after
Uh-oh.
like very long cutscenes. Um,
So you had to watch the cutscene all over again?
I did. I had to like click through the dialogue over again, which is kind of a bummer. And it keeps happening, and they have not patched it yet. But other than that, I did one time have to look up a guide on how to do something. Actually, twice. There is an optional power that you can get in the third town that I thought that it was impossible to get without some other kind of mechanism, like another kind of power that I had, or maybe getting an item. It turns out it's just very hard to get, and it's, I think, maybe a little bit poorly designed the way you get it. I also had to look up a guide during a boss fight because I could not figure out what I was doing wrong. But other than those sour spots, I will say that the game is beautiful. Animations are great. Every character design is interesting to look at and fun. The music is great. The story is interesting. I'm interested to see where it leads. Especially, I would say it opens really, really strongly. Like the first 3 hours of gameplay, I think are very, very solid. The dialogue is maybe the weakest part of the game. Just like there's a lot of cliches being thrown around, and just like turns of phrase that I feel like don't really fit the world. But other than that, I mean, I recommend this game. I think it's great. So far, I think I am going to beat it. I'll probably play more of it today. I've heard that it's around 25 or 30 hours, so I guess I'm halfway through, although it seems like I'm going to the final zone. So I guess I'm not sure where the story's going to go. But I'm in chapter 6 right now.
Do you know how many chapters there are?
I do not, actually. But, I mean, it seems like things are coming to a head as far as the story goes. And I'm going to what I believe to be is the final city on the line. A lot of the story is based on going eastward on this train track. And it seems like the last stop is the place that I'm going now. So, who knows? But I love it. I mean, the combat is not as deep as I thought it was going to be, but it is very fun and satisfying, especially when you get it, like... you get into a groove of using both characters, and you can like stun with one character and go in for combat with the other character. All the enemy designs are really, really cool. It's just like beautifully, everything is beautifully drawn. But
yeah, it does look very hand drawn.
Yeah, I'll have a full review probably when I beat it. But so far, it's been good with a very few spots that I was not into, but overall I'm happy that I purchased it and I'm playing it. How is Deathloop?
Well, I would say I really like the look of Eastward, and I really do want to play that game.
I think you should play it. I think you should play it.
Hopefully I will have some time once I finish up Deathloop, and I'll be able to play it, because it was a game that I was anticipating all year, so I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, Deathloop is pretty cool so far. It took me like maybe 2 to 3 hours somewhere in there to get through what felt like the tutorial. It's not like heavy on tutorial, but it takes that long to kind of open up and sort of get the premise going, where because you kind of start out and you have lost your memory, and so you're kind of trying to figure out what's going on. Which is a pretty cool way to start out, because obviously you, the player, don't know what's going on, and they have sort of a lot to introduce you to in terms of how the loop works, and because it is a time looping game, and so you kind of figure out that the way to end the loop, because the whole goal is to try to break the time loop. And you discover the way to do that is to take out these, I believe there are 8 visionaries in the game. And the tricky part about that is that there are 4 times of day in the game. There's morning, noon, afternoon, and evening. And there are like a handful of different locations that you can go to. And depending on what time of day it is, like the visionaries might be in different locations. And there may be different things going on in each of those locations depending on the time of day that you choose to go visit them. And so you're basically going in and trying to gather enough information to figure out like where each of the people are going to be so that you can work out a way to take all of them out within the same day. And for me, it puts a little bit of stress on me, just the idea that I know I'm not going to be able to do that within the first day. And so basically I'm going to have to do some of this stuff over again. But I find the combat to be pretty cool. When you take out a visionary, you can take they have like a special power. They also have like a unique weapon that you can take as well. And one of the first abilities that you gain is the ability to infuse items or abilities. And if you do that, when you wake up on the next loop, you will retain the stuff that you have infused. So you're going around and collecting what's called residuum, and you can use that to infuse items and abilities so that you don't have to go back through and collect them again next time. So that's pretty cool. And it gets to the point where you're kind of like, well, I am like partway through this loop. I'm like exploring this area, but I have picked up some good weapons and like I've got a bunch of residuum. I kind of want to go back and just like start infusing some stuff so that I can hang on to it and not risk like dying and dropping my stuff or whatever, or not have it, or like having the loop start over. So, and losing all of that stuff. So yeah, it's pretty cool. And at one point, Juliana, the other character, that's sort of there's another character who's like talking to you throughout the intro of the game, and she eventually starts like invading your loop and will come after you and attack you. And the unique part of that is it can be just another player. So you can choose to have your game set to like online. And if you do that, other players can invade your game and try to kill you. And they only have 1 life, but you have 3. And so you kind of have an advantage, but also like, especially in the early going, Juliana will have all the abilities basically, and you will not. So you're a little bit, it's a little bit balanced in that way, I guess, because you have more than 1 life, but you're also trying to like complete an objective. And so they can just like go into your loop and go exactly where you need to go and like set up a bunch of traps and stuff. So I have avoided playing that way. I've turned it off and just gone to single player. But I also hear that it is worth doing. It is worth having it online, because if you are able to take out Juliana, you can take whatever she drops.
Oh, interesting.
So that means if she has like a crazy ability or like some cool weapons that you don't have, and you're able to take her out, you get to grab those and keep those. Well, if you infuse them, you can keep them. But and the other thing is, she will, I guess I don't know what happens if she kills you. I guess your loop just starts over, but that's like a pretty big risk.
They were going to do that for Doom Eternal. Remember that? They were going to have like infused demons that were going to be able to be played by other people in the world. Yeah,
I remember they showed that like a trailer for Doom Eternal, and then it just never happened.
They just canceled it. Yeah, it never came to be.
But yeah, no, it's been cool so far. I'm into it. I find the world and just like the style of it very cool. But yeah, I'm curious to see, because right now the loop I'm on, I have taken out 2 of the visionaries, and I've grabbed 2 abilities that I was able to infuse, and I infused their unique weapons that I took off of them. But I also feel like I'm going to get to a point where I realize that I am not able to complete the game or finish, taking out all the people I need to within the loop I'm currently on. And I'm going to have to start over, and that's going to feel a little bit frustrating, because it's like, well, I already did this, but now I have to go do it again. But like, I think you discover that, you know, so and so has like a relationship with this other visionary, and so they are hanging out at this time of day at this location. So you have to like, I almost feel like I need to have like a notebook or something nearby and start taking notes and be like, okay, next loop in the morning at this place, I'm gonna go take this person out. And then at noon at this place, I'm going to take these two people out because they are in this location. And so you have to try to figure out how to map things out that way, which,
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm interested. I do want to play this game. I just grabbed Eastward first, and I think I am going to check it out after I finish up Eastward.
Yeah, and the shooting is pretty good. It's not like Destiny level, but it's pretty good. I'm playing it on PC because I prefer playing shooters with mouse and keyboard. So I don't know how it controls with a controller, but it is out on PS5.
I probably will pick it up on. I'll probably pick it up on PC. I just I love Dishonored. I never played Dishonored 2 for some reason, but I love that style. I was very into Thief back in the day, and it's kind of a similar world, kind of like a steampunk city. And I am excited to play this. I will definitely check it out.
Yeah, I never played the Dishonored games, but I've heard that it's similar vibes for people because you're like,
It seems like, yeah.
you're sneaking around and taking out enemies. The other game people have likened it to is Hitman, because you're going after.
Yeah, that makes sense.
You're going after targets and you're sneaking around and everything. But
yeah,
it's a cool game. It's been getting like 10 out of 10s, and people are already talking about it like it's a game of the year contender for them. So I'm excited to play more. But the thing that has sort of kept me from playing more is Destiny 2.
Yes, we have, you more so than me. I've been dipping my toes in when I can, but we've both been getting back into Destiny 2.
Yeah, so every now and then I'll just get in the mood to jump back in and sort of test the waters on it. And usually that happens after like an announcement of new content or an actual drop of new content. And for whatever reason last year, that didn't happen. So I've been away from the game for more than a year, and so I missed out on a bunch of stuff. And so I'm now getting back into it, and I have all this content to catch up on. So it's been fun. Like, you log in and you know there's like a ton of stuff you can do, and it's almost like a little bit overwhelming. I'm like, I don't know what to do first. But last night I actually played some, and I was trying to get caught up on some of the seasonal stuff. And I'll say I think they're doing a much better job with storytelling. I don't know if that's
Really?
like a new development or if this is something that the last couple of seasons has been an improvement on, but it's been pretty interesting because they'll throw like some new story content every week now. And so it's like a sort of constant slow drip of story happening. And it's been interesting to see because like I know the next DLC that's happening in February, the big villain is going to be Savathun. And
yes.
so you're like the stuff that's happening now, I think is supposed to lead up to it. And so in this season, like week after week, you're sort of going to this like astral plane to do these bring back lost Techians for Petra. And this is all like weird nonsense words that I'm saying for people who are not familiar with Destiny. But you're also having these interactions with Savathun. And so it's interesting to see where this is going and like what's happening. Because it seems like Petra was able to like encase Savathun in like some sort of thing, like she's stuck in it basically looks like a statue, but she's able to speak. And so occasionally you will go and have like a conversation with Savathun, and also Prince Uldren,
The Crow,
who killed Cade 6,
he doesn't remember doing that though.
Is back, but yeah, he doesn't have his memories from that time, and so he goes by the Crow now. And he like the last story thing I did, he really wanted to talk to Savathun for some reason, but Petra wouldn't let him. And so it's interesting. I have the feeling where this is going is that Crow is going to do something insane and like let Savathun out, and it's going to be a big issue. But that probably won't happen for a while. But anyway, I would encourage you to try to get back into it and get leveled up and start doing some of this.
I do enjoy, so when we've played together, we just have been running strikes, and those have all been really fun, and I'm still such a low level that I always get interesting things from, like, all in-grand drops or whatever. So I'm having a lot of fun by also, like, not engaging with any of the in-game content, but there will come a point where I hit the cap and I'll have to, I guess, I got the season pass, but I think I also need to buy, like, Beyond Light, maybe?
Yeah, I mean, so you can go back and play through the Beyond Light stuff if you want. I played through the story and I have like some other like additional quests to do that pop up after you complete the story. But then I also am trying to keep up with like the current content, and I'm still a little bit low on my power level as well. So I kind of need to also just log in and do like the weekly stuff that you run to get powerful drops. So and a thing I discovered, I don't know if this is like really old information and I just missed out on it or not, but like there is matchmaking for Nightfalls for like the two lower tiers of Nightfall. So I started running those this week as well. And I know there are like some bounties that you can do, or like some other quests that involve doing Nightfalls, and I was always like, oh well, I'm kind of locked out of this unless I can get you and our other friend together to actually play these, or if I want to try to run it solo or do like an LFG type of a thing. But no, you can actually run the lower tiers, so they have like multiple difficulty settings, and the lower two you can have matchmaking. It's the higher difficulty ones that require you to have your own fire team. But
interesting.
So that's worth doing. It's another way to get powerful drops every week, in addition to like, because like you said, the past few weeks we've gotten on together to run our weekly strikes. And now that's another thing we can also do that's PvE that you don't have to buy Beyond Light for. So
that's great.
Yeah. And I really want you guys to get leveled up so that we can run that 6-man activity. That's another thing you can do just with the season pass. And it's pretty fun. It's a pretty fun activity, and you'll get some good gear out of it. So, yeah, that's, I think, all we've got. Do you have any parting wisdom?
Do I? I should really start, like, thinking about these before we get to them. My parting wisdom. Zach, do you like Panda Express?
I do.
I read they were coming out with a orange chicken sandwich.
What?
That had like pickled relish on it. Not pickled relish, pickled radish on it.
Just the idea of them having a sandwich is strange to me.
They're trying to get into the chicken sandwich game.
Trying to compete with Chick-fil-A and Popeyes?
Everywhere.
And KFC.
Wendy's even. Yeah. I have not seen it in the wild. I just saw a video of it, but I like a good chicken sandwich. Taco Bell even has their like chicken taco sandwich right now.
What is that?
It's very weird. It comes on like pita bread. I got it. It was okay. It's not something I probably would still get a cheesy gordita crunch over that, but I like interesting, new, weird fast food stuff. So I'm excited to check out this Panda Express orange chicken sandwich, and you should too.
I don't eat a lot of fast food, and lately I've actually started doing some more of a keto style diet where I don't really eat very many carbs.
Oh yeah.
So I would probably not eat that because it would bread would blow up my carb intake for like multiple
for
days.
sure.
But like, and also rice is like another big feature of Panda Express, but.
Wait, you can't have rice?
Well, there's a lot of carbs in rice, isn't there?
That's true, I guess.
Too many carbs. I mean, I know it's like it's all starch, but like I feel like there's a lot of carbs in rice.
Yeah.
But anyway, That's going to do it for this one.
We will catch you on the next one.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.